Sorry, we're closed.
All right, welcome back. Another episode. Sorry, we're closed, Sean. Once again, I did not test the volumes of the mic.
Testing. Here we are. Testing. This is what we're doing.
This is what we do now. Yeah. All right, Sean. First thing I want to talk about, we usually start, as we always do, question of the day. People are loving this on TikTok. People are loving it.
People are loving what?
Question of the day. People are absolutely loving it.
They're not so fond of me right now, but
No, they're not too fond of you, which we'll get into. Sean is really stirring the pot on question of the day.
let me tell you, I'm doubling down.
I bet you are, Sean. That's not on brand for you at all. But question of the day, brought to you by WinBet, which we will also get into. WinBet, now the new sponsor.
This is crazy. I can't see you at all. I'm changing this.
Change the angle. There you go. New sponsor of the pod. But question of the day, Sean. Are you ready?
I've been ready. First 7 times you said it.
Would you take $1 billion? For those of you home, that's Sean gets excited about $1 billion.
It moves the needle a little bit. You know.
Would you take $1 billion, but you had to spend the next 3 years in space? This is a tough question.
I like being alone.
You do like being alone.
3 years in space.
You get
Do we
3
know
years
if
to let
that's
Stephanie meet someone else?
Can she come with me?
No, you're by yourself.
Alone.
You're going alone in space. Going alone.
Is there communication or anything?
So the person who posed this on TikTok gave some other things in there. I just don't think they were necessary. I think it's a tough enough question, so I didn't add them. But he said that you weren't allowed to make a phone call for the first year.
So zero communication at all.
Yeah, he's saying nothing. I'm okay. I think it's a tough enough question where you're going to only be able to communicate people. I guess maybe I don't know if you have internet. I don't really know, but like let's say you do.
Kind of like you just kind of assume you're on a deserted island. Maybe you get a phone call here.
Yeah.
Do we? Well, there's a few things that I need to know.
Okay, Sean, let's hear.
I need to know if that's doable. Like I know that there's things with space that where I don't know that you can stay up there forever.
Yeah,
or for 3 years.
You can stay up there for 3 years, or for argument's sake.
For argument's sake, so we stay up there for 3 years.
When you come home, $1 billion in your bank account. It's tough. I put it this way: the way I've kind of thought about it in my head has been, okay, if someone told you right now, take away the space portion. If someone told you right now at 37, Sean, you're going to be a billionaire, and you're like, wow, that's fast.
Well, I'll tell you this: I'm leaning towards yes.
Okay,
I'm leaning towards yes. There's one thing that is keeping me away from it, and it is. Like I've just finished Nelson Mandela's book.
Okay.
And he talks about like when he was in prison for 27 years, there was a significant period of it spent in solitary confinement. And he said there's just no worse punishment for a human being than solitary confinement. I think you really do go crazy. I think that you would be like Tom Hanks in Castaway. You'd be making friends with a volleyball. You know, Nelson Mandela was talking about how he made friends with the ants, the insects that would walk across the floor. He said every minute felt like an hour. I mean, can I have is there some entertainment on there? Can I have a video game system or something?
Yeah, I see. I don't know. Let's say for argument's sake, since this is not going to happen, for argument's sake, say for the most part, your life is fairly the same. You're just by yourself in space for 3 years.
I would say, oh man, I'm so wary of the consequence of 3 years of no human interaction. I'm going to say no.
You're going to say no.
I'm going to say no because I think the consequence would be too big. I think if you went 3 years in space, you would hit the point of saying it is not worth it.
But then you get back down, you're like, okay, maybe it is.
No, I get it. But I think when my thing is it's beyond mental toughness. Yeah. It is now you've permanently changed who you are. That's what I think.
So I'm with you, which I feel like we've agreed mostly on these. But the reason I wouldn't do it, and again, it's talking about quality of life right now. One, there's twofold here. One of my goals in life is to become a billionaire. So this would take that goal for me. but it almost takes the fun of trying to become a billionaire out of the equation. Like, although yes, I'm not Sean here, guys. It moves the needle. I'm excited.
A billion moves the needle for everybody.
Okay, but
Sometimes.
but I like part of the fun of having the goal is the process to getting there. It's like trying to find what businesses can do that. I keep adding more business. Like I always said, life is like a video game to me. I'm trying to beat the game, and right now the way to beat the game was to become a billionaire. For me, that's kind of the goal that I have. So I'm trying to accomplish that. If I came home and all of a sudden I was just a billionaire.
Yeah, but there's nothing all of a sudden about that. You earned that.
I did earn it, no questions asked. I earned it, but like I didn't earn it in the sense of going out and trying to build a business or trying to build a portfolio and trying to evaluate business. I'm just going.
It's less gamified. And simply just paying a price.
Yes, I'm paying a price for it. Which it's just a little bit different. So I think it takes a little bit of the fun away from me. Would I come home and be really excited? Probably, yeah. But I just on the second portion of that.
I just don't know that you get excited after 3 years by yourself.
I think I'd get excited. Sean loves to push buttons. $1 million doesn't excite him, and he comes home, he doesn't get excited about $1 billion.
No, I get. But I'm strictly thinking about it from these. I mean, these are the books I'm reading here. Evolve Your Brain. I'm reading neuroscience. I have a
Sean is so fun at parties.
I'm not. I'm actually not fun at all at parties.
We know.
Actually, never let me have the aux cord.
Oh my God, no.
But. Like I'm thinking of it strictly not from like a holy crap $1 billion. I'm thinking of it strictly from a neuroscience perspective of what is that going to do to my brain. And I think you might have irreversible damage or irreversible changes that completely change your perception and who you are. I think you could come back insane.
So I got a good story for you.
Okay.
And you know the story because you were part of it. You're actually part of the decision-making process. Towards the end of my baseball career,
yes,
I couldn't throw a strike anymore.
That's correct. I remember it greatly.
There are, and I know guys have done this, there are drugs out there that can make you less anxious, less nervous.
Yes.
And the caveat here is, maybe I might be a little less anxious, a little less nervous, might be able to throw more strikes, be able to extend my career, make a few $1 million maybe if I'm able to extend my career in a little bit of a major way. But the caveat here is my mother was a nurse. Sean's a strength coach and obviously into the neuroscience world. I don't know if he was as much in the neuroscience world then as you are now.
Actually, quite a bit.
Okay. But the thing that I remember my mother telling me was that these pills, and not just my mother, but my agent and even doctors with the teams, they would tell you a lot of times these pills are changing chemically how you interact with certain things, and you might not be the same person afterwards. And baseball, although I loved baseball, it didn't mean that much to me. And it's a similar thought process here. It's a lot less money for baseball, but it was for the love of the game and for the money that you make, is it worth risking changing yourself?
No, and I also think I
chose no, obviously.
I think, first of all, you're 100% accurate. When you take a pill for, say, high blood pressure, you have only altered one set point inside of the body. There's a cascade of effects that have to happen as a result of you changing that. And on the front end of it, you've never addressed the problem of why you have the high blood pressure in the first place. You're just attacking one single set point, and the body has to react to that. So everything changes perpetually. Afterwards, like people get random symptoms like knee pain from high blood pressure medication. And it's like, I don't even know how to put, and for like us, if you come to a doctor, you come to a strength coach, somebody who's schooled in this stuff, I can't address you any further because it's no longer follows the natural order of things. It's just kind of like you just start this process of always fixing set points with more medicine. That being said, I also think that with respect to the $1 billion, people might not like this again, but there's a point of I think $1 billion is a point past where like quality of life stuff. Like for me, you say I want to become a billionaire. I'm like, that would be sick, no doubt. But to me, like, where does it stop really mattering? Like at 500 million, I feel like, you and I would have the exact same quality of life. Maybe you could buy the Jets, and I could buy
You'd still be a
you
part
know,
of
the
the-
Somerset Patriots.
you can buy much more. You buy the whole league at $500 million.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're still
Right.
buying the Jets with me probably.
Yeah. So like I
terrible
think
too. I'm not
like,
buying the Jets.
So to me, when I look at it, you know, I think like to me, 500 million and $1 billion are the freaking same. You know, like you know, I mean, even how and then it's like then it's the way true. Like where does it end? Like
never ends.
Right. So like at what point is it truly a difference?
Yeah. Well, no, that's not even so much a difference. I just think that me and you, and we're getting a little off topic here, but I just think me and you are setting ourselves up currently that we never really retire. We're enjoying.
I certainly never want to
We're
retire.
enjoying what we do.
Yeah.
We're trying to grow. So yeah, if I hit $1 billion at age 39, which would be outrageous, but if I hit $1 billion at age 39, I'm not stopping.
Right.
I'm going to keep going.
Right.
As I like what I do. I'm enjoying this
Really,
game.
what happens is you just have luxuries. You have trophies around
Yes.
you when you come when you have that money, and you can like live. You can maybe hire other people.
Mm-hmm.
You can speed up the process in which you get to 2 billion or 10 billion or whatever.
I mean, it's a snowball.
Yeah, it is. To me, from a strictly brain science standpoint, I think you would screw yourself up irreversibly by spending 3 years in space. And I think I have 99% certainty on you will get to the point way before the 3 years is over that you don't. The $1 billion is not worth this. This is torture. That's what I believe.
All right. Well, fair enough. I'm going to go a less scientific method of that. Like I said, I just my quality of life right now is good enough.
Yeah.
Where I don't need to put myself through that to get to the $1 billion. And then on top of it, like I said, like one of my favorite video games of all time. This might not be a popular opinion because it seems like when I told my friends this as a kid, they thought I was a little bit of a nerd. But my favorite video games of all time was Jak and Daxter series.
You loved that game.
I loved it.
If our PlayStation was still workable, you'd play it.
It's still workable. I just bought it on PS4. But the thing was I bought the series on PS4 for like $30.
Mm-hmm.
But the it's like when certain games the joystick you move left, but it actually moves you like the other way.
Yes.
So it's doing that, and I don't know how to fix it yet. I'm still been looking into how to fix that. I can't play with it going that way. It's annoying me.
You think it's because of your Fortnite settings?
So no, because the Fortnite settings are just the jump button.
Right, but you still switch X in the joystick.
Yeah, but I'm saying like when you move the joystick left, it's not doing it. And I've switched back.
Okay.
It's just moving. Like it's one of those games that when you turn left, it's actually turning the camera left.
I know exactly what you mean.
So I don't particularly enjoy that portion of it, but it was one of my favorite games of all time. And like I said, when you talk about the game of life and like this video game that I'm trying to play here, when I become 100 millionaire, I've beaten Jak and Daxter, the original series. But when Jak 2 comes out, I'm going to play Jak 2.
Of course.
And now I'm trying to do that. And then when Jak and Daxter, Jak 3 comes out, I'm going to play Jak 3. And then when and this is kind of where it gets, when Jak and Daxter racing game comes out, I'm like, well, no, fuck that. That's not what I'm playing. That.
Okay, now you're just trying to take my money.
Yeah, exactly. So
Just put them in little buggies and make them go around a map.
Yeah, exactly.
Some idiot's going to buy that.
Not my thing. Not my thing.
Somebody's listening to this podcast right now with like Jak and Daxter racing. You're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, not my game. Not my game. But yeah, so I think it takes away a little bit of the fun for me. And again, my quality of life, I don't need to put myself through, like, as a non-neuroscience person, I don't need to put myself through the possibility of that being hell for me in order to get there. And that's, I think, again, at the end of the day. Prediction, though, Sean.
I think there's going to be people. Actually, let me retweet this. I think that there are going to be people that are going to be like,
take a prediction before you retweet because you'll see the results for a second.
I think that. Ah, man, 3 years is so long. I think $1 billion is so much, though. I think that'll be it'll be a small margin of victory for the $1 billion.
I think billion's going to absolutely crush it.
There are going to be people who are like, I will literally stand up right now and walk into the spaceship and never tell anybody that I'm going anywhere. I think those people are out there.
Yeah. I think billion, again, just how I've always done it here when we're talking about money. People see the big number and say, yeah, I'll do that in a heartbeat right now, right immediately.
I didn't see it at all. I just retweeted.
I was like, I'll do that in a heartbeat. There's no questions about it. I'm doing it. And they don't really like take time. Like we're on a podcast. So we're going to talk about it for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that's why you got to come listen to the pod.
Yeah, I can listen to the pod, but you can't really say you got to.
I was
come
going to
listen
say
to
you
the
can't
pod.
tell them listen.
They're
They're
already
listening to
listening.
the pod. Thank you so much for listening to the
Yes.
pod. Please tell your friends.
But I just think that it's just such an easy when you're just reading it. Oh, I'm taking the $1 billion because I'm what do I mean? Because I'm taking $1 billion. So I think that's probably where it'll end up. But moving on.
So actually, before we move on, I just want to hit my topic so we can get it. It's going to be a quick one, and I just want to
Okay,
bring it up
let's
because
talk.
it's super interesting. You're familiar with the basketball tournament? TBT.
Is that the one that Kevin Bellaby's a part of?
Yes. Boeheim's Army.
Yes, Boeheim's Army.
So they have all these different regionals. Like it's starting up in July.
Okay.
And I wanted to see I never really watch it, but it's always like interesting that it's on. West Virginia's got a team, couple of the guys from when I was in school there, and it's interesting. But they have all these different regionals, different parts of the country. West Virginia has a regional, and they're hosting a regional part of this tournament at Rucker Park. And I was like, damn, that's freaking cool, man.
It is.
That's something that I'm going to tune into to watch the basketball tournament at Rucker Park.
Yeah,
I
people
mean
like that.
that is awesome.
Good thing for the economy over there. And bringing
Yes.
all these people to be excited. It's a big basketball place.
And I don't know that.
And Rutgers in what? Is it in Bronx?
Harlem? I think it's don't quote me. It's kind of
We
like
won't.
off. It's kind of off to my knowledge. I think it's like 156th Street or something like that. So I think it's.
That'll be exciting. It's a good
I
part.
think that's gonna be really cool. And I think basketball street ball has kind of like died a little bit after the N1 stuff, which I just watched the 30 for 30.
Was it good?
It was cool because like you remember that stuff, and and they had Lou Williams on there who I coached with the Lakers, and he was talking about it a little bit, and they always bring up the question like, can they play in the NBA? Like while having watched it, like when I came out, I was in 8th grade, and it was the coolest thing in the world.
Of course.
When I watched it this time, I was like, these guys are horrendous basketball players. They take no care of themselves whatsoever, and they always bring up, can they play in the NBA? And it is an emphatic no from Baron Davis they had on there. Remember Baron Davis? He was like cracking up at the question. This was actually funny. They said that Hot Sauce went to a pro-am. They had Iman Shumpert on there. And they said Hot Sauce went to a pro-am with the NBA guys, and he got smoked so bad by the end of it, they were calling him ketchup.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Jason Williams was successful.
But Jason Williams was not. There was one guy.
I thought he came from the.
No, you're thinking of the professor. He's
the
not.
professor. The professor.
That is not Jason Williams.
No,
at
no,
all.
no.
The
I
professor.
thought where did Jason Williams come from?
West Virginia.
Oh.
He went to Florida.
Oh wow. Yeah.
There's only one guy ever, if you remember, who went to the NBA from the N1 mixtape.
I don't remember him.
Skip to my Lou. Rafer Alston. Good career.
Yeah,
Good career.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah,
So anyway.
I still remember. I remember wearing all the N1 stuff.
Oh, with the sayings on the
Yeah,
shirts. And,
yeah.
But yeah, so they're bringing it back to Rucker Park. It'll be really cool to see how they do that up.
Good for basketball.
Yeah,
Good for
that
basketball.
is really good. And I know I think the NBA was also trying to potentially do games there.
Interesting.
Like somebody was trying. Maybe it was college. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, it would be. Certainly would be. Good. That'd be cool. That'd be a cool little thing, and I'm sure Kevin will enjoy it. Moving on. You did say this would be quick, and it was.
That's it.
Moving on. Sorry, we're closed. Sean, let's clap it up. Sorry, we're closed has its first ever sponsor. I think it'll be now 2 years in August going into the podcast. Only
We've been doing this for
no. Me and you have not.
Oh.
2 years from me. I started in August of 2020. So me and you have been doing it for like 6 months or so.
I feel like we're coming up on a year.
I feel like we're not. I don't know. Take a look. I thought we started like in the fall, November area. But anyway, Sorry We're Closed has its first ever sponsor. We have a partnership with WynnBET, the gambling arm of the Wynn properties. If you're familiar with them out in Vegas, and there's one Encore in Boston that just popped up. I was actually out with the CEO of Wynn this past Monday, and he has a lot of fun. Let me tell you.
September 28th looks like it was our first.
September
podcast.
28th. September 28th. Is that coming up on a little bit of a year? Happy to be a part of Wynn. We're going to go out to Vegas, me and Sean, in the end of July, and we're going to go out there for a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And Thursday we'll be recording hopefully a couple podcasts with a
So
couple
everybody's
guests.
got to go out and they got to download this app. They got to download the WinBet
Yes,
app.
yes, but don't do anything yet.
But if you do it now, I will literally end you.
Maybe not. I'm not sure because this comes out Friday. We're getting a promo code. We want people to sign up with the promo code so that people with us get a little bit of a deal, and then because there will be some type of
Promo code.
not a promo code, but there'll be some type of like you'll get like $50 or something like that when you download and you put $20 on or something like that. So let me work on that for you guys with Win first before you go ahead and do this, so that you guys can get some stuff out of this. But Win is they're pretty cool people. But we're going out to Vegas Thursday. They have this they partnered with this company called Blue Wire. That is like a podcast company, and they have this sick ass studio that me and Sean go out. We're gonna get some studio time, hopefully record a couple podcasts, and then Kai goes in town, which is what I'm really going out there for. So that'll be a lot of fun. That'll be a fun weekend. I'm looking forward to doing that. I was actually gonna do a PJ for it. And then I realized with how many people we had, we were going to need to do a golf stream, and it was going to cost $150,000.
Teterboro to Vegas is the big leagues.
Yes, that is the very big leagues. So we'll be flying commercial, but I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the partnership. Obviously, Win's a cool company. They're looking to grow a lot, so they're looking to help us. And going out to Vegas can't hurt.
Here we go.
Can't hurt. So we will once we have the promo code. I'm thinking SWC has the promo code. Something we want something nice and short, or I could do Pat.
Succinct.
Yeah, but just something nice and quick. You don't want people have to type in the whole. Sorry, we're closed. So maybe the SWC. But we'll figure something out for you guys. And once I have it, me and Sean will tweet it out to you guys so that you guys have that ability. But moving on, let's talk some baseball. Let's talk baseball. Red Sox, Yankees, as we always start in baseball before we do our look around the league segment of the show. Red Sox, Yankees. Last time we were on here, Red Sox had taken a little bit of a stumble, a little bit more of a stumble than we're used to seeing right now. But as we continue, I will start with this once again. The Red Sox are now above 500 for the first time since like April. They're 29-27. 7-3 in their last 10, and still 11 and a half games back from the Yankees because the Yankees just decided they don't want to lose for the rest of the year. But the Red Sox are coming in hot, and on top of that, since Alex Cora shaved his beard in the first week of May, the Red Sox hold the second best record in baseball. We
talked about this last week, and what I remember I said, like, we've seen what we need to see, but the big thing for me was always like, if you hit that, like, I think they were 5-5 in the last 10, last week.
6-4. 6-4 was what it was. You said if they were 6-4 in the last 10 and they're in a slump, that's a good sign.
Yeah. So now when we're looking at 7-3, kind of like they swung out of that and things are going well.
Yes.
So I would say that is an outstanding sign. Then you look at the division and it's really close minus the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees are insane right now.
Yeah. I mean, and you also think about it. The other thing I want you to, and before I don't want to do a quick look around the league here, but for this segment, the look around the league here we're talking about is if you just look at the rest of the American League. The Red Sox are like 4 games or 3 to 5 games out of the first place in each other division. And you're talking about the Twins having a good year. You're talking about the Astros having a good year. Like, you're just in a division right now with the best team in baseball. Like, you're in a division right now that is going to be almost near impossible to win. Huh. They're 40-15. That's outrageous.
It's funny if you look at the NL and the NL East.
Yeah.
Like the second place Braves have the same record as
the Red Sox.
Red Sox, so they would be like, what's that conversation like? I mean, still 8 games back, but it just looks so much more brutal when they're in fourth place. Yeah, when they're in fourth place.
Exactly. So that's what you want to look at if you're a Red Sox fan right now. Is look at this team's playing very well since the first week of May. They have been as consistent as consistent get. They're taking it to teams they need to. This Angels team, although in the biggest slump in franchise history. Losing their last 15 games or something like that.
A favorable schedule coming up.
Yep. Oh, certainly, but they're just way a lot. But then they need to gear up and they need to win these games because they got a very difficult schedule coming in July. It's where all the AL East teams play each other, and they're all just beating up on each other. It's the Rays, it's the Blue Jays, it's the Yankees. Like this is going to be a tough schedule in July, and that's why you need these games. This is why we were so disappointed with the Orioles and so disappointed with the Reds, because these games are huge when you're playing these shit teams. The games are huge to take those, because you can't. Now you got to go. You got to go scrap against the Angels, who might be the worst team in baseball right now. But you got to go scrap against the Angels. You got to go scrap against some of these better teams. And you just don't want to have to do that.
What's wrong? Oh my gosh, they lost 12 games in a row.
I think it's not more than that. I thought they're
it says 0-10, but I remember when I saw 0-10, I remember they fired Madden last night after a 12-game skip.
So they're at 13 now because they lost last night to the Red Sox,
which seems a bit rash to me.
Okay, so we'll get in that and look around the league, but let's quickly again the Red Sox. If you're really looking at they're what I have said from the beginning here in May, that they're a solid club. They're playing good baseball. We're very unfortunate in the division that they're in right now.
It's definitely time. There's definitely some optimism.
And here's what's going to come down. No matter how well you do the rest of this month, the Yankees are probably going to do well too. What you need in July is to crush it. If you really want to have a chance to compete with the Yankees this year to take the division, which you don't need to make the playoffs. If you're a good club like the Red Sox are, yeah, you're gonna fight. I mean, we might have three AL East teams make the playoff. You might have 4 AL East teams make the playoffs because you have extended playoffs this year.
13 and 14 at home too. They gotta if they can win your home games.
Yes,
take the series at home.
They're playing good baseball right now, but. If you need July if you want to compete with the Yankees for the division. And again, it's not something we need as a Red Sox group. It's just not something we need in order to compete at a high level in the playoffs this year, because you just got to get in the playoffs. But if you want to take the division, July's going to be a really important month for the Red Sox.
I think that's exciting, though, for them. And, I mean, as a Yankee fan, we want the Red Sox around, too.
Yankees, Red Sox.
And you're literally in the hunt. You're like, you can make the playoffs.
Yankees, Red Sox, July 11th. If the Red Sox are, significantly above 500 and we're, 8 games back, you play 3 games against the Yankees, all of a sudden you're 5 games back and you sweep them.
I'm not sure I'm reading this right.
Yeah.
But it looks like you're in the playoffs as they started right now.
Okay, it's hard for me because I don't remember the new playoff format.
If I look at this right here, it doesn't say there are any games behind, which lends me to believe that they're in the playoffs right now. Which would be 3 wildcard teams?
3 wildcard teams, yes.
So then, they're in.
Yes. Yep, that's correct. So the Red Sox are currently in that 3rd wildcard spot. The Rays, so right now, which is outrageous, the AL East has 1 team not making the playoffs.
Oh, that was all. I saw
Blue Jays, Rays,
Red Sox. That makes sense.
That's outrageous.
Wow.
When you're talking about a division. Outrageous.
The Orioles,
you're the Boston Red Sox, and you're in the playoffs right now in 4th place in your own division.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Shows you how good the AL East is this year, guys. You got a really, really strong AL East, and that's honestly that's what's fun about being the Boston Red Sox. What's fun about being the Tampa Bay Rays and the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees is you're playing in the best division in baseball.
It's always been that way.
Always been that way. Everyone beats up on everyone. And we're playing a good brand of baseball. Now transitioning, we're not playing as good of a brand of baseball as the Yankees.
Yo, it's like you just. I watched a bunch of games this week. First of all, I was watching the game like a week ago, like 5 days ago.
Yeah.
Talion on the mound. I'm not even sure I'm saying that right, but
Talion
on the mound, and like people were people were making like routine plays, and like people were absolutely like losing their mind. Like some guy like caught like like threw a guy out at first, and people were like, "Oh my god, that was amazing!" Like, what the heck is going on here? And then Michael Kay after the inning goes, "Talion, 17 up, 17 down." And I'm like, am I watching a perfect game here? Which I was, and he lost it in the 8th.
Oh wow!
I had no idea. I was about to come in. I was about to come get you and be like, "Yo, your boy is pitching a perfect game right now." But he lost it on I think it was like a ground ball up the middle.
That's how I lost my perfect game.
And then the next night, Cole Hamels takes the mound.
Cole Hamels or Garrett Cole?
Garrett Cole, not Cole Hamels. Just checking you guys. A big Yankee fan here.
Cole Hamels.
Garrett Cole takes the mound and watching the game, kind of like half-assed, like on my computer a little bit. And then I hear people, the crowd going bananas for Cole, after the inning or whatever. And I'm like, this is so weird again. And then the announcer goes, 17 up, 17 down. I was like, is this happening again? Dude. And it was. And they had back-to-back. 2 nights in a row. They took a perfect game into the 7th. Talion got it into the 8th, but I mean, they're just. And then they were playing the Tigers, and the Tigers were like pushing them, like they could score like 5 runs or something like that. And you just felt you're like, you're not going to win this game. And they won in the 10th or the 11th inning. It was just like automatic at this point.
You know what, Sean, and that is a great way to put it. Because it pretty much is automatic at this point. This team is playing so well, and I want to bring up this tweet from our good friend Eric Hubbs over at Barstool Sports. Although I guess we're not supposed to talk about Barstool anymore, but Eric Hubbs, big Yankee fan, love the guy, super nice. He tweeted out something. I really want to get it, and I want Miranda to put this up. He just tweets so damn much during the fucking games that I got to go scroll down like 100 tweets. But I'd like Miranda to put this up because Hubbs talked about a tweet from Marcus Stroman. It was a few years back, and Marcus had tweeted something about how he was it seemed like he was kind of upset that the Yankees didn't pursue him more and give him a lot of money. And it was going to be one of those things where like they're going to regret it type of thing. And Hubbs, yeah, he's a lot. Oh, here it is. Perfect. I'll give you the tweet first. Marcus Stroman tweeted, "Besides Cole, there's no current Yankee pitcher who will be anywhere in my league over the next 5 to 7 years. Their pitching always folds in the end. That lineup and payroll should be winning World Series left and right, yet they're in a drought. LOL emoji."
I can't stand people like this.
No, like I said, I don't defend Marcus because...
Where is he now?
The Cubs. I don't defend Marcus. The only thing I always say is that a good friend, Brian Johnson, told me that he's a good dude. So his antics on the field are not. And Brian,
I've heard that about Tim Anderson too.
It makes sense. But BJ is not the guy that likes those antics on the field. So for him to come and say that, it means something to me because it means that okay, he's just this ultra competitor on the field that just does crazy shit. But it's not reflective of the type of person he is. So he says that Eric Hubbs tweets, Yankee starting pitchers, all 5 starting pitchers earned runs allowed in last 10 starts, 8. Marcus Stroman earned runs allowed yesterday, 9.
That tweet did not age well.
No, it did not, my friend. Here's the thing, and this is what I talked about on Johan's fucking podcast the other day with the Yankees. Is the worst pitcher, the worst starting pitcher the Yankees have, the 5th guy. You take a guess, Sean, what his current ERA is.
I mean, I know their ERA is just across the border is filthy.
Yeah.
I'll say worst guy, realistically, a 3.7.
It's like a 3.05. Every other
that's
1 through 4 is sub 3 in the AL East.
Yeah, that's beyond.
It's unbeatable almost.
It is. No, it is unbeatable.
Like you, as a club, as a club,
you have to play perfect to win.
You have to almost throw.
And then get through their lineup too.
Yeah, almost have to throw a shutout.
Yeah.
To give your team a legitimate chance of winning this game.
And Judge is absolutely
on a tear,
sizzling.
So when you're talking about this Yankee club,
they're getting healthy too.
When you talk about this Yankee club, you always go and talk about the lineup. You talk about Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Josh Donaldson. You talk about these guys that are just outrageous hitters right now.
Nasty Nestor is potentially going to start the All-Star game.
When you're talking about the lineup, and it's probably not the strongest point of this club right now, we have a real problem on our hands as the rest of the AL East teams because you're talking about a starting rotation that's going to go out there and give up on average 2.5 runs a game.
Well,
and you now have to face this lineup as the opposing starting pitcher and beat that. You're gonna. It's a buzzsaw right now. It's what you're running into.
I agree with that, and I think like as a Red Sox fan, like that's something that you're really keeping an eye on. I mean, for in the Yankees' perspective, like I think we always keep an eye on the Red Sox. Like that's a thing that's just like you never really no matter if the game's being played, anybody can win. But there are other teams in the bigs right now that are similar. I mean, the Mets and the Dodgers are killing it.
Yep.
So like there's a couple buzzsaws out there in the league this year, and I find that to be fascinating. So like for the Yankees, we're looking across town, looking over into Queens.
Yeah, you do.
As you know,
which again are my World Series picks.
Do you see how Max Scherzer hurt his hand?
Yeah, his dog bit him.
His
or something?
dog bit him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was fine though. Apparently.
Yeah.
He tweeted out saying it was a non-story.
Yeah. No, story. But your Max Scherzer, it's a major
Everything's a story, especially in New York.
Yeah.
Everything's a story.
A lot of newspapers here.
Yes, a lot of paper, a lot of paper you got to fill up there. But yeah, I mean, this Yankee team is unlike a Yankee team that we've seen in the last 10 years. This team is really good. They're playing really well. It seems like they have a phenomenal clubhouse. And you're talking about a team that may still add at the deadline, which adding to a 40-15 team is outrageous. It's just a really good club right now. It's exciting though. It's exciting to have this kind of team in the Bronx. It's exciting to have this kind of team in Queens. As a Red Sox fan, the Red Sox own the second best record in baseball since May. Like you're talking about,
You want that. Yankees, you want them
and
both
now
good.
you're gonna now when the Yankees come to Boston, it is a
big.
huge deal.
It's big.
And everyone loves
That's what you want.
Everyone loves
what
to
you
hate
want.
the Yankees. Everyone loves to hate the
You know,
Yankees.
everyone hates the Red Sox too. So
Yeah, but the Yankees have that they have that white collar.
exactly.
We're
They're,
better
good.
than everyone.
Like good.
Red Sox have always been a blue collar.
They are.
They've
I
been
agree.
a blue collar club.
And as a strength and conditioning coach who has traveled to many minor league ballparks around the country,
Yes.
I would say I saw more Red Sox hats than Yankees hats, but they're both the top 1 and 2.
They're apparently the two best traveling teams. When I debuted in Atlanta, they were announcing both teams, and when they were announcing the Red Sox, I remember looking at my strength coach at the time, Mike Roos. You remember Mike? I looked at him. I go, I feel like we're at a home game, and he goes, every place we go besides the Bronx.
We had
And I was like, makes sense.
we had the same thing with the Lakers. All home games.
Yep.
Everybody.
Just it's one of those clubs.
Yeah.
It's one of those clubs. And they said the Yankees are the same way. But,
Sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure,
So,
I'm
listen, it's a fun rivalry. I'm excited that both teams are good. Both teams are playing well.
Yes.
Xander got hurt last night, but he apparently is brushing it off. Not much of anything.
Long season.
Long season. And the Red Sox, who own the second best record in the last month and a change, is hopeful to get Chris Sale back next month. And now we're talking about a true ace on this club with Nathan Eovaldi.
What's he got? What's he down with?
I think shoulder. I can't remember. Maybe Tom John. I can't remember. He's kind of
That's
had
a big difference.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how much Chris Sale is an absolute competitor. I'm not sure. He's been hurt
Just a
now
little more
twice.
fragile.
Yeah, I think he's a little more fragile as he gets older here. But it's certainly exciting. I remember when Chris Sale was being talked about coming to Boston. I thought I might be one of the trade pieces for him when they were first talking about it. So, like I said, exciting time to be a Red Sox fan. Exciting.
Stress fracture in his right rib cage.
Oh, there you go.
So he hasn't played all year.
No, not a single game.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, it's like Jacob deGrom for the Red Sox. This is our guy.
That's really encouraging. That's a big deal.
We're happy to get him back. Happy to get him back. Hopefully soon. But we want him to come back. We don't need him right now. So I really hope they don't rush him back because we don't want him to go down again. Let's get him 100% healthy and make sure we get back.
How do you break a rib? We had a guy.
riding horses or something.
He said it. Well, technically it says while he was doing a private workout in late February. Okay, so he probably wasn't doing that.
Probably drinking.
We had a guy when I worked for the Diamondbacks. We had a guy. This is so real. There was a video of this.
Mm-hmm.
He dislocated his non-throwing shoulder in between pitches in a game. He threw the ball. This is glove side. He throws the ball. The catcher throws the ball back to him. He puts his hand up to catch it. Arm out of its socket. Professional athlete. Jeez. I think that was the last game he ever played.
I can understand
It was
that.
rookie ball, so he wasn't like a prospect or anything.
Okay.
But that actually I couldn't. That was like shocking.
That is shocking. Anyway, look around the league. We have 2 coaches fired, 2 managers, 1 out, and the Angels got rid of their guy, and the Phillies got rid of Girardi.
Oh, I saw that's right. Girardi.
So Joe Madden and Joe Girardi, 2.
Joe Madden seems rash to me. This is like the best year they've had in a long time so far.
But they're plummeting because they're on a 13-game losing streak.
Still, though, like pump the brakes.
I just don't think it's Joe Madden's fault.
No, of course it's not.
No.
He's a World Series manager.
Yes. So
What is going on there?
I don't know. I also didn't hear all.
We know it's not their strength coach, Matt Tenney.
No, it's not Matt Tenney. Congratulations, Matt Tenney.
Just great work, Matt Tenney.
If you guys find him on Twitter, what's his Twitter handle?
He has no way he has Twitter.
Oh, okay. I was hoping everyone would tweet at him.
He's like
Congratulations,
a
Matt Tenney.
non-social. That would be amazing.
Congratulations, Matt Tenney.
Oh man, that would be sick if everybody did that.
Anyway,
Like, what the hell?
why is everyone congratulating me?
You'd look up the podcast and be like, son of a bitch.
Idiots.
This guy has no filter.
But congratulations to Matt Tenney. But Joe Madden out, Joe Girardi out, 2 professional managers. And when I say professional managers, we're not talking about guys who just got their first jobs. We're not talking about guys who have been in the league for a couple years. We're talking about 2 guys that have managed clubs for an extended period of time, couple World Series appearances under Joe Madden's belt. I think there was one appearance for Joe Girardi.
Yeah, I was going to say, did Girardi get one?
I don't know if he got one.
Maybe?
I don't know if he was a manager. I think it was 2009 is when they won their last World
Okay.
Series. But I don't think that I don't know if he was the manager at the time. It couldn't have been Joe Torre.
Who was before Girardi?
Was Torre? Did Girardi go right in after Torre? Take a look. But 2 professional managers out in baseball. I'm sure they will be highly sought after in other jobs. I could see Joe Madden maybe going in. If he's towards the end of his career, doesn't care about managing anymore, maybe he goes in as like a bench coach or a special assistant for the Cubs, type of deal.
Oh my God.
What?
Joe Girardi. Oh wait, I read that wrong. Joe Girardi took over in 2008.
2008. So he did have the World Series appearance in 2009. I think they won in 09.
They won 103 games in 2009.
Yeah. So I can see Girardi also, if he doesn't, I think Girardi still cares about managing, but I could certainly see him taking a special assistant job for the Yankees or something like that if he was kind of over the whole managerial position. But 2 managers out. And I mean, the big storyline right now is the Angels. The Angels they've lost the last 13 games. They were 27-17, and they're now 27-30. I mean, that is as bad as it gets. It is a franchise record for the Los Angeles Angels to lose that many games in a row. On top of it, to add insult to injury, Mike Trout left yesterday's game in the 3rd inning. Yes. You can't afford to let a guy like Trout go down. He's leading this
tightness.
club.
Actually, left groin tightness is a tough one.
Yeah. So, anywho,
13 is hard to do. Losing 13 games in a row, I think, is indicative of something deeper. That's hard to do in baseball.
It's hard to do.
That's 2 weeks in a row of losing.
It's certainly hard to do, and it's hard to do when you supposedly have a pretty good club. And that's why you're talking about possibly getting rid of a guy like Joe Madden. I've heard questionable things about Joe Madden. I had several teammates play for him.
Like what?
Huh?
Like what questionable?
It was the Joe Madden show. And you can
makes
see
sense.
that.
That makes
You can see
sense.
that. He's supposed to be this cool, fun guy, but it wasn't like he wasn't still that guy behind closed doors when the cameras were off. It was just that, it was the Joe Madden show.
Yeah, I get that.
We're here for me. And it's not like he is not trying to lead a club. He's going out there, I'm Joe Madden. Type of deal.
I can see that.
So there were certainly some people that didn't love him the way that he is made out to be in the media.
Right.
So I could certainly see him not taking to this club and this club not loving him. Here's the other thing, and this is something that I can't say for sure happened, but when you're doing a managerial change this early in the season, this is pretty. You don't see very many mid-season managerial changes in baseball. That's just something you don't see.
How many years has he been there?
I don't know, 2, 3, but you just don't see that very often. You're talking probably guys like Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, some of these big veteran people they have on this club being consulted on the deal, being consulted on what are their thoughts on this.
That's a good point.
It could go as far as them being the ones to bring it up. So to me, you certainly have an interesting dynamic in Philadelphia and the Angels. The Philadelphia Phillies went on to, I believe, sweep the Angels. I think they were playing them after Joe Girardi's departure, and then Joe Madden gets the boot after the Phillies series. So you certainly have an interesting situation here where, was there more unhappiness
There's always
in
more
that
to the story.
clubhouse
There's
than
always
people
more.
know? And were veterans pushing for both of these managers to leave?
You gotta-
Joe Girardi. I've also heard through the grapevine that Joe Girardi was very similar to, we compared him to John Farrell. John Farrell, nice guy. We all like him, but he's not really doing anything. Like he's just kind of a guy. He's
What
not a
do
great,
managers do?
He's not really, but like Alex Cora, you go fuck with him.
He's a leader.
He's a leader, and he is a guy you like talking to, the guy you like speaking to, but he's also going to help you through things. He's going to tell you how to get through certain things. Whereas,
What's the role? What's the primary role of a manager in baseball? Because in other sports, there's more like impact. I want to say more impact on the game, but more obvious impact on the game.
I mean, the biggest thing that everyone talks about when you're hiring a manager is can he manage a bullpen? Bullpen management is
That makes
huge.
sense. That makes sense.
Because if you're going to start running guys out there, you're going to get guys tired. You're going to get beat. You have to. There's certain times where you have to pull the plug and say, "All right, it's not worth my guy's arm today."
I agree with that.
So
That's a big
bullpen
one.
management is huge. Clubhouse.
Managing the clubhouse makes the most sense
Yes,
to me.
you have to be able to manage these veterans who don't give a fuck who you are. They're making 10 times the money you're making, and you have to have their respect. And then putting together a club along with an Alex Cora guy. Alex Cora is not a guy that's going to take a job where he can't control the clubhouse, he can't control the lineup. So you have to have that ability to put together a lineup, put together a club in the offseason that you think can compete on a high level with the GM, with whoever you're working with, whether it's the GM or president of baseball ops, doing things like that. And you're talking about people felt bad for Joe Girardi because they thought that Dave Dombrowski put together one of the worst fucking teams in Major League Baseball history. They didn't put together a real solid club.
Such a big hire too. Everyone was so pumped about him.
Well, he's known as the guy who's selling off the farm to go win the World Series right fucking now. That's what he's known for. And he's going to come in. You're going to leave your team in disarray. Your farm system's going to suck, but you got a World Series or 2 under your belt. That's what Dave Dombrowski's known for, and he did that in Boston. But it's very interesting to see a mid-season 2 firings of 2 high-profile managers in baseball. You have to see there's certainly some bigger writing on the wall, and that's why I kind of want to talk about on the podcast was that you guys are seeing, they're not playing that well, but they're also getting fired because there's certainly possible disarray. There's people behind the scenes here. There could be veteran leadership that does not like this guy.
Been building for a while.
Yep,
it's not just a 13 game
exactly.
skid.
So just a little insight for you guys. So kind of
let me jut in here. We got breaking news on the podcast.
We do. Let's hear it.
This is kind of big.
This is going to be breaking news on Friday.
Yeah, you guys know about this for a couple days now. Bryson DeChambeau going to the Live Tour.
Wow. I want to talk about the Live Tour, so let's just transition to that right now.
Just announced. Bryson DeChambeau, 2020 U.S. Open champ, joining the Live Golf Invitational Series. Patrick Reed, also 2018 Masters champion, also joining the Live. I'm assuming it's Live. I might be saying this wrong. Live Series.
I think everyone says Live.
Okay. Wow.
Huge names going over there. I think, and I want your opinion, Sean. Obviously, I want your opinion. It'll be weird if I didn't. What's your opinion? Do you think that I think this is going to force the PGA to start changing some rules?
I mean, you are losing big dogs.
Yes,
big dogs.
And in order for you to sustain a high caliber, association here, you're going. I think I saw it on what's the show you love to take, Around the Horn? PTI. I think I saw it last night where there's a thought process here where the PGA is going to have to allow guys to play in majors. They can't play in the rest.
Well, it looks like that's already happened. They've allowed it for the U.S. Open.
Okay,
that's done.
That's
now.
allowed.
They made that. So
announcement. But that's their moneymakers. You have to allow guys to come do it.
Yeah,
you have to.
I mean, there's going to be huge changes. There has to be. There's no other way around. They're losing big dogs. And what's interesting is because when Phil Mickelson came out and he kind of attacked the PGA Tour, it seemed like it came out of nowhere. And it would have really felt like it was like he stood up in the cafeteria and he was like, "This place sucks. Who's with me?" And everyone's just like, "Yo, we were going to do this quietly, my man."
Yes.
And nobody came with him. But now, it's not just Victor Hovland or these random guys who are coming out.
Victor Hovland go?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I was just trying to think of the most random guy I could think of off the top of my head. But we're getting really big guys to go. So what it tells me is that he wasn't wrong. Just people didn't want to go about it in that way. And now we're seeing DeChambeau going over. I remember that was a big target for them because he was a younger guy that they could go over and do these things
and have a whole career with him.
And have more of a career there. So I mean. And again, I mentioned this to you last night where the CEO or the president, I don't know what it says here somewhere, of the PGA Tour, I can't remember the guy's title, but he was being kind of catty about it. It wasn't like you kind of expect somebody in that position to say, we regret that Dustin is going over to the Live Tour. We would of course love to have him as part of the PGA Tour. He's a decorated champion, and we hope to see him back on the tour soon. You'd expect it to be a statement like that, but the guy was just like, he's basically like, screw this guy. Like, if you want to go there, like, you're not welcome back over here, and that kind of lends itself to more of dysfunction inside the PGA Tour. They're kind of running a monopoly here, right? Yeah. And if you don't do it the right way, the players have the power. When they realize that, things get ugly
real fast. Yeah. And I actually saw and something also to consider. They kind of, I saw a statistic that Dustin Johnson got $125 million to go over to this tournament, this other league. And comparatively speaking, to put it into perspective for you guys, is that Tiger Woods has made $121 million in his entire career.
Well, like prize money.
Yes. So it's just, listen, there's, on PTI last night, they talked about how it's blood money and all this stuff. You'd like guys to stand up to it. But on the same token, they said, well, listen, the NBA has done work with China for years. The United States government is business partners with the Saudi government. Where is the line drawn? Everyone can't just come out against the PGA Tour players and also be like okay with living in a country that does business with Saudi Arabia. So
very fair.
You have to be fair at some point. Everyone makes decisions about their morals, and this group came over and did it. Like everyone on TikTok, it's the Chinese.
Yeah.
The Chinese made this Byte Dances, I think is the company, made this thing. And now, like, oh yeah, but you want to post fun dance videos.
It's funny. Tony Robbins tells a great story. He says everybody was adamantly against giving their data to the Russians and their personal information to the Russians, and then the Russians made an app that made you able to see what you looked like if you were an old person.
Yes,
and that Face app thing was like a sus developer out in Russia, and they're like, oh, we'll give you information. Like, look how old I look like old.
Yeah, I think it's again, a lot of it's just smoke and mirrors. People just want to be.
You guys know the PGA is probably PR in their way. Like, these kids, they're killers. How can you go there?
Yes, of course, PR your way. But I think there's also, and I think you put yourself in a position to make yourself look bad because at the end of the day, you don't give a fuck.
Everybody's got to be raising questions about the PGA Tour right now. Like, what's going on?
I saw someone the other day said it was a good. They think a good idea would be because the Ryder Cup's every fourth year or something like that, every third year.
I thought it was every year.
I think it's only like every. I think it's like every other. I think it's like But they said that they should do every year the Ryder Cup isn't on. They should do Live versus PGA. And like let's put some marketing dollars behind that. My league versus your league.
That ain't happening.
But I'm saying, here's at the end of the day, you're here to make money. That's what you're here to do.
That's the only thing that matters in this world.
Literally the only thing that matters.
It's money.
And I guarantee you, if they think it's a huge moneymaker, they'll go do it.
Money talks.
And at the end of the day, if this president of the PGA isn't cutting it, and they got big people behind
he's
him,
got to be in hot water.
They kick him out, and the new young guy. Let's do TikToks and let's do Live
or
versus
a young
that.
woman.
Or a young woman. Doesn't seem like the PGA's way, but
that could happen.
Could happen, but that's what I'm saying. Like let's get young, let's get exciting, let's get TikToks, let's get let's go and play against Live.
I want to know what the real problem is. I want to know why they really don't like it.
It's because they're probably losing a tremendous amount of money. Everything is marketing dollars right now, and now they're going to lose sponsorships because they're going to all of a sudden now, unless Tiger's playing, who are we really going after? Brooks Koepka and two other guys on the tour?
Not even close to as exciting.
No, it's not at all. So at the end of the day, that is what we're talking about here. But it is. I love bringing up Live because it's a really interesting dynamic what's going on.
It really is.
Phil Mickelson, props to you starting the snowball. I know he said some things that you shouldn't have said.
Maybe you should be buying him dinners, man. He was the freaking guinea pig.
Seriously. But I mean, I saw a quote from Rory McIlroy. Rory McIlroy came out was really hard on Phil Mickelson, and now he's softening his stance. It's money.
Did you see the thing on TikTok about Jake Owen and Phil Mickelson?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was too funny.
That was funny. But anyway, that's all I got for today. Should I get any other topics you want to talk about today?
No, you hit them both. Rucker Park and
Live.
I was going to say Dustin Johnson because he resigned his membership. And I'm not sure if anybody else. I think one or two other guys did, but Dustin Johnson resigning his membership was a big deal.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, as we always do, let's get back to the question of the day. Question of the day. We have 5 minutes left, and we got some responses. WinBet, the sponsor of the podcast, If you would be wrong to not mention what they said.
We're financially obligated to answer this.
They said, send me to space tomorrow. Imagine all the bets I could place after landing in 2025. Makes sense from a gambling company. Let's see what we got here. The rest of we got here. Let's see who else. We got Richard Kalunga Jr., send me to space. William Padberg, I bet age and stage of life plays a huge factor in these votes, definitely. If you're talking about someone in their 80s, probably not as important to someone in their 20s. Send my ass into orbit, though. 3 years is a blip compared to the life I'll put on remaining years with the money upon return. Quadney Dangerfield, that's certainly not your real name. Am I just like floating in a box receiving food and supplies?
What if that is his real name? And you just offended the hell out of him.
I'm pretty sure it's a movie character. If it's your real name, Quadney, I'm sorry. Mora says, important factors to consider. Being alone is fine, but can you talk to people on Earth? Take showers, sleep in a bed, watch sports. Are you going to
If you can take showers.
Yeah, those are things that are happening. Do I get a PS5? That makes sense from Cesar Fuentes.
I love that question.
Yep.
No, it's fine. It's just, do I get a PlayStation?
Yes. And then Furio Donocci, if it's a guaranteed safe return flight home, it's a no-brainer to yes, take the billion. You live like a king for the rest of your life. And as expected, as I expected, it is a blowout. 70% of people, 110 votes, so just over 70 votes, are headed to orbit, and 30% are staying home. So, again, as expected, there were some good points in there. There is certainly where your stage in life, where how that's going to take a. I'm sure Grandma Casey is okay not going to space for 3 years.
That would be something else.
Would be something else. However, let's think about this. You know, if you're guaranteed not to die and you're at 105, maybe you take it. Maybe I got 3 more years. I'm
Quality
guaranteed.
of life, man. That is at 105. You can't even move.
Guaranteed 3 more years, though.
Just sitting there like sucking on a straw.
Yeah. Guaranteed 3 more years. So interesting stuff. Sean, another phenomenal show by you and myself.
Thank you. I'm glad you
WinBet,
think so.
we will have a promo code for you guys shortly. As I'm working, actually was working with Win. I was texting this guy that does it for us. Shout out Jake, who's going to get the promo code for us up and running so that we can take care of our listeners in a little bit of a bigger way and thank them for listening as we all put bets. I look forward to, Sean, I know both of us are amateur gamblers. I
got a feeling I know what college football team is looking good this season.
I have a feeling you do too, Sean. Talk about people fading bets. They are going to bet against you all the time. As will
But there will be a time.
There will be a time.
There will be
Sean
one season.
It in.
There'll be one season where all of the pieces come together.
That's when
magic.
That's when our show blows up.
Magic Motown.
This
baby.
guy has been right on every game. How's he picking West Virginia? And then someone
He picked them to win by 70. They won by 70.
and then people come out and be like, he's been doing this for 5 years. This doesn't count. So we'll have the promo code for you guys soon. Go follow WinBet on Twitter and all the other socials. And until next time, guys.
Go Mountaineers.
Go Mountaineers.
Sorry, we're closed.